I want to talk about your marketing war room. Go to page 54. All of you have, and I'm going to go around the room right now. Before I ask you this question, so you don't feel bad, how many prospects do you have in the pipeline right now? How many people do you have that have raised their hand? They could either be cold, hot, cold, or warm, hot, warm, or cold. They've not purchased yet. They've not given you any money yet. How many do you have, do you think, that said, hey, you know what, someday I might hire you. Someday, maybe, possibly. Do you want me to start over here? How many do you have? This is not made to make you feel bad or anything. How many?
Less than 10.
Okay, we need to get that number up. We need to have more people in the pipeline. I won't pick on you, Bryce, because do you have any prospects? How many do you have, Russell?
Probably 150.
150 people have not given you money that are in the pipeline right now, okay?
A couple hundred.
Oh yeah, because anybody, you'll take money from any advertiser, won't you? But there's probably some you go after a little more than others. What are some of your favorite industries that should be advertising with you?
People have higher end customers, so hospitals, car dealers.
Yes, and they pay their bills. That's good too. Jason?
A couple of dozen that were constantly trying to meet with the stuff.
Okay, that's a terrible number. By the way, you get a C+.
I mean, we have our email distribution list is a lot bigger than that, but people are talking to. I need to increase that.
There's
more.
no way. There's no way that you could be working with 1,000 people right now efficiently. Are we talking about selling the services, your services rather than?
So our email distribution list is about 300 or so. Our email list.
Okay, now we're narrowing. Now we're getting into something that we work with a little bit. The reason I'm picking on you because isn't your services like one-on-one to one-on?
And group stuff. One-on-one in group, masterminding type group.
For money?
For money.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Jeff, how many people are in your pipeline right now?
Well, in the last year, we probably had several hundred districts asking for more information, attending one of our webinars or something like that. Oh, probably 300.
By the way, a webinar, thank you for bringing that up. A webinar could be a consumer awareness guide too. I attended a webinar a couple of weeks ago about how to, what do you call it when you're talking to a machine? You're dictating, how to dictate, how to use that. And they're a firm that will transcribe that kind of stuff. So you got a couple hundred, huh?
Yeah, and that's just this last year.
Do you have some old ones from the previous year?
We have 11,000 districts on our email list, and then plus tens of thousands that Jessica emails to substitutes. So
tens of thousands?
those have registered for our newsletters or
Taking a course.
over time, but that's her active.
You guys should be absolutely swamped with business. See, there's a book. By the way, this is anytime it seems like I'm zeroing on somebody, I see opportunity, rather than hey, we should be doing something different. There's a book called The Goal, G-O-A-L, The Goal by Eli Goldratt. He's a guy from Egypt. It's interesting the books you kind of run across. Have you seen the book? Tell us about the book. Yeah, I know it.
It's cultish.
Yeah. Tell us about it. Jared, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it?
I own the ebook, but I haven't listened to it.
That's okay.
It's lean manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's a book about manufacturing processes. And the only thing I took from the book, and hold me if I'm wrong, only 3 of us will know that I'm wrong, that everything's a manufacturing process, and if any time of your tube is clogged up, the entire manufacturing process is clogged up. Yeah. You can use any term, your sales funnel's clogged up and stuff like that. See, a lot of times, and again, this is applicable to everybody, when you keep on hitting somebody with your messages, something needs to be changed because you should be having more action happening. Either the message needs to change. Remember my 6 M's of media? M1 is why you're doing it. M2 is who you're talking to. M3 is what your message is. M4 is the media that you're using. M5 is are you measuring it, and M6 do you have a map? And the way I look at it, so you guys are a little constipated right now in that area, and the reason is one of those 6 is not pumping on all cylinders, and you need to twist it like the cryptex in the what's the movie, the Da Vinci Code. You twist it, you got to go see the movie. Okay, it came out when you were 10, all right, but still, it's a good movie. Sorry, Garrett. You're young.
I've read the book and I've seen the book.
Okay, that's good. And you can get. I don't want to stay here anymore. That's good. I just got your eye. But it's kind of, the public is a very interesting thing. One of the reasons I hate focus groups is because focus groups are liars. Focus groups want to tell you what everybody else is telling you. You want to test it in the marketplace, and for some reason, your messaging and or your media and or who you're talking to is not connecting. And my advice is one message, one market, one media. And when you're testing, we're going to talk about this in the next class, is that you only test one thing at a time. Don't change the message, the media, and the market. You want to test everything. And it's really exciting when you find out that everything hooks up and the phone goes nuts. I just love that to happen. Had a client that was mentioned. He sells cars in a very unique way. It's basically, he's a broker, like selling a house is a broker, right? And he was mentioned on Glenn Beck. Boom! The lights just, he got 500 calls just right then, and he couldn't handle it. It overwhelmed him. So we're going to talk about prospects in a minute. Okay, I didn't mean to stop here. How many prospects do you have in the pipeline?
Less than 150 to 100.
That's good. It's a manageable number. You said 250 already. You and I were talking and stuff like that. Heather, how many do you have? People that you've talked to before that said, yes, and where were you last night? Now, Heather, I don't mean to pick on you. Do you know that number? That's okay. I love honesty. Oh, you're an interesting one too. You should have a very small number. Ellen is looking for employment, correct? What industry are you looking in?
I keep switching.
That's okay. You're a chameleon. That's okay.
Still trying to figure out what I want to be.
That's okay. When you're over 20, you can do that, okay? So how many people are you working with right now that have not hired you? Is that a good question? Or how many have you applied to and stuff?
There have been about 3, but there was one I was kind of focusing on, and that just, I decided.
That's okay. You kept on going down that path. That's okay. 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've got someone else I'm wanting to date. I
had a, you want to date somebody? I guess I should pay attention right to the very end of the sentence, huh? That's right. No, that's okay. I'm going to, my next section that I'm going to be I'm not done with you. You guys are not off the hook. My next section I'm going to be talking about follow-up, and I have what is called a foolproof follow-up system. And I'm going to stop and tell my story on you right now. In Laguna Hills, California, where my ad agency was back in 1985, I was looking for a copywriter. Put the ad out in the traditional means, and I got a lot of applications, a lot of competent people, a lot of people looking for jobs. And there was this one girl who would not give up, but she was so good at it. Her name was Kim Powers. Love the name too. And she used to call me Mr. Brooks. I don't get that much anymore, not even from my wife. I need to talk to my wife. She should be calling me Mr. Brooks. But she would use a variety of methods when she was following up with me, a variety of approaches. She would not use what I called earlier the Chinese torture, just, hey, have you made a decision yet? Hey, have you made a decision yet? You know, that kind of stuff. It was just following up and finding out, well, is there any questions I asked for you today? Is there anything I can do for free right now? Is there, just interesting methods of doing it, just kept on going and going and going. It was just really good. But Shannon, you're an interesting business because you're retail. Retail's a toughie. You're like a flock of geese. If they decide to fly somewhere else or whatever.
Yeah, and I said to someone this last week, I think everyone should have to work retail for 6 months.
No, that's miserable. It's like working on a cherry farm. I've done that.
Yeah.
Retail stuff.
So I have a customer base that people have come into the shop in the last 10 years. And of course I've dwindled it down, so I'm probably another decent.
Whoa, you got rid of that list?
Yeah.
See,
so,
that's called prejudice marketing, where you're thinking, oh, you're not going to buy anymore. Let them tell you that.
well, I have people that have unsubscribed, so once they
That's fair enough. That's okay, and
once
that's.
they unsubscribe, I kind of take them off.
Except you keep on emailing Jared, and he's tired of multiple emails and codes to get into all your website, you know.
Yeah, so I think my list right now is about 1,500, but I have like 300 people that actively open up my emails when I send them.
And are they customers or prospects? Do you know?
I don't know,
Okay.
so.
Today we're talking about prospects. Next time we're going to talk about your customers. Jared, how many do you have in your? You know everybody, man. You've done this 3 times now.
300.
You're different.
Individually, I may have a combination of 3 or 4 different companies, maybe 400 or 500. But it's more of a project-based situation.
Yeah, I know.
We don't really advertise.
No.
We're starting to now with 2 of the companies. now that it's product-based as opposed to a service.
Here's my point. When I go with this little exercise right here, how many of you in this room consider yourself really good at follow-up? Meaning that you got a system and you know who you're following up with, you've got a process, you know what you're going to say, you know when you're going to do it, you're seeing results of your efforts, or is it just kind of like get the old shotgun out and say, try again today? Who's got a good system in here that they'd like to say, I've got a really good system?
The only follow-up system that we have in place is that whether you purchase from us or not, if we can get your name and your email, then within 48 hours, you get an email coupon from us to come back into the shop.
And how often do you send out that coupon?
Once. It's a welcome coupon for the very first time you come through. But that's the only system I have in place.
I want to brainstorm for a minute. On page 54, I have what is called my marketing war room. My office is very interesting, and none of you are allowed in that room. My office has whiteboards in it, it has cork boards in there, it has charts, it has graphs, it has your picture, some of you. I know who my prospects are. And I call it my marketing war room. I do not meet my clients in that room because it is a visual representation. It is old school. I also have it on my phone. I don't look at my phone often enough to do it that way. But it's old school on what I am doing for my 3 markets. I have my customer section, my prospect section, my suspect section. And I always start with my customers on that particular day and how I can keep them forever. We're going to talk about that next time. My prospect section, I have little graphs and moving them along. It's a chart. I have high value, medium value, low value. I have if they are cold, warm, hot, or a customer. Very, very visual. And every morning I have a routine. When I go into my office, I go back to my wingman. Does anybody remember the movie Top Gun? Stay by your wingman. Can anybody tell me what that story was about? As best you can. Go for it, Stephen.
It's just about not deviating from who your point is, and that, your leader who's in charge of getting you where you're going.
It's a wonderful movie and a wonderful analogy where there are certain rules in engagement of combat and stuff like that. And I have the same rules of engagement, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in business continuously since 1984. That's a good sign. I hated my job, I quit, and now I can't get a real job. So I'm going to just do this the rest of my life. I have habits, and I list them on the whiteboard. It says daily marketing habits. The first one is I drink a big cup of water. Again, I'm going to get on my Seattle horse here for a minute. I'm well hydrated. Interesting thing, isn't it? Second thing is I sit in my chair after saying my morning prayers and I ponder. I come to my inner self. And I'm sitting in the office looking at all these things. I look on there on the priorities. Did I send out the invoices? Did I follow up on this? Did I do boom, 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 boom? Then I have on one sheet my marketing plan, my entire marketing plan on one sheet. I have 4 categories. Products that I'm selling, which I have some products. Group stuff like this, which I love doing. Clients, and then prospects. And I review where things have come from and where I want to go. It doesn't take this, we're talking 5 minutes tops on regrouping myself in my marketing war room. And I recommend you have a place like that where you get in the habit. If you're not marketing your business is eventually going to die. At the bottom of this sheet on what page am I on? Page 54. What are some reasons that you do not follow up? I'm going to kill them right now.
Forget.
You forget? Yes. It's because it's not on your whiteboard saying, did you follow up? Very good answer. What's another reason you don't follow up? I got 10.
Fear?
Fear is on here, yes. You're afraid of what, Bryce? You look like you're a fearless guy. What are you afraid of?
Rejection.
Nobody likes rejection. No, nobody likes to be told no to, but I was talking to one of you before class was starting, and I said, I would rather have a no today than a no 3 weeks down the road when you're like dead, or you moved out of the country, or you don't want to sell your house anymore, or you're no longer a teacher. Yeah, I'd rather have a no. I just don't want to waste my time. What are some other reasons? Lazy. You are lazy.
I feel like we follow up, but then we don't get a response back.
Yes, does that depress you?
Yeah, and then what do you do? So you keep.
Yeah, thank you for paying attention, Jeff. Yes, the Chinese method. What else? You guys are saying all the things on here. Distracted from what?
Everything else.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
Yeah, other follow-ups.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. We live in the over-communicated, the overstimulated society. Oh my gosh, so much is coming at us. I'm not just talking business-wise. I'm talking children, wives, church things, commitments, baseball leagues, billboards. I mean, we're just, all day long, we have these blinders on and we're just getting things out of the way. It's a very good point. And what usually happens in your day? What do you work on the most? Now I'm talking the 7 habits of highly effective people. You work on hot fires. Yeah, no, yeah. You're working on the things that are usually the most urgent rather than the things that are most important. And that's why I believe that marketing is the most important thing you should be doing in your business. If you're marketing your business, you're making a profit, and you're making a profit, you're very happy. I wrote down some of these. You don't believe in follow-up. You don't think it's working, and you're having some bad experiences with it. You think if it's not a hot prospect, why even try? See, that's why I'm telling you guys to go fish in the cold market where you have to follow up, because what's going to happen is someday they're going to turn into a warm and then a hot. You do one thing and you're done. Who's that? There's Shannon. One thing, you do it, you send it out, you're done. That's the reason that you don't follow up. You don't want to appear pushy, right? Pushy is the guy calling you up on the phone all day long, and I wished I could stop that from happening. It doesn't happen. Here's a big one. Again, here's an epiphany moment for all of you. You can't follow up because you haven't captured their information. Anybody that calls my firm, I capture at least their phone number because we have that in place, and you can't capture it.